It's a pleasure to welcome Nigel Waller. He is the founder CEO of Movirtu, the wireless company that won the Thai 50 award and is flown in from UK to be part of this conference and to share his entrepreneurial experiences and his journey with us. Nigel, it's a pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your product, Movirtu. What do you guys do?
So we have a cloud phone which enables the 3 billion people who live below the poverty line to have their own phone number, their own identity. And they access that identity by logging in and logging out of other people's phones, shared phones, just use, like you or I log in or log out of email on any PC in the world.
So the challenge for you is, because you're not in touch with the consumer, you have to go with the carriers.
Yes, exactly right. The way that our technology is embedded in the core of the mobile network, so we can't operate independently for the mobile carriers. So we work with the mobile carriers and put our technology in there, and they do all the marketing and the sales work in terms of the consumer-facing work that needs to happen.
So can you go a little bit deeper into helping us understand how this technology works?
Yeah, sure. There's a number of differences. Think of us like a Google Voice or a Skype, but that we don't actually offer the services to consumers. We work with the mobile operators, so we enable the mobile operators to touch these people that they haven't been able to reach before. We also don't have any applications running on the handset, so we're a server-side application that runs, which is hence why we can work on all the various handsets.
How did you get this idea, Nigel? Because you will be not only successful but a very blessed entrepreneur, especially in the emerging markets.
Thank you. Well, I'd love to say that the idea came while I was out in the emerging markets, but it actually came when I was in Russia visiting, and the idea was, the way that the idea came about was that I understood the problem. I mean, I've been working in the emerging markets for 15 years, and for the last 8 years or so, I've realized the problem of people living below the poverty line, the fact that they just use phones in a far different way than you or I can imagine. But I just couldn't think of the solution. So one day I was in a car in Moscow and I had the spark, and it really is a spark. Everyone tells you you have a spark, and if you think you've had an idea and you don't treat it as a spark, then you haven't had the idea yet. Because I've had lots of ideas in the past, but they just never came up to anything. So I had this flash of inspiration, the spark, and the spark went along the lines of, you can log in and log out of email. Why can't you do the same thing with a phone? Why does the phone have to be so complicated? Why do you have to have the phone number attached to the phone? Why not just put all of that up in the cloud and make a really simple phone device? So that was the spark that started off the company.
It'll be interesting to know the entrepreneurial challenges in UK and Europe compared to the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Silicon Valley, which is very robust, very open, very encouraging. You have pretty much a mature ecosystem existing. Where did you feel the challenges in starting up your venture?
Yeah, it's a good question. It is very challenging compared to Silicon Valley, and I think a sign of that is that both our existing investors come from US, and our investment hasn't come from Europe. In Europe, it's very difficult for anybody to raise capital at this time, but it's much easier to raise larger amounts, A series, etc. The whole of the capital fund market is really entrenched. They're looking at opportunities in local European countries. They're not even looking at the wider scope of Europe, and they're looking for existing businesses with a large amount of revenue already coming in, very, very safe models. So it's very difficult to raise capital for entrepreneurs. And similarly, after the crisis that hit the financial markets, it was very difficult for people to even just go to a bank to raise funds to help start up a company. So that proved very difficult for us because we're working through with mobile operators. It's a very intensive setup in terms of technology. We work in the core of the mobile network, which means that if we do anything wrong, we could take down the whole of the mobile network quite easily. So, of course, the mobile network operators really want to make sure that we're not going to do that and that our solutions work. So we have to go through quite lengthy processes in terms of the work that we do until we get to a point where we're making revenue.
So where do you see now that you have the funding and the team and the technology, obviously you'll be enhancing it a lot more to accommodate, and make sure it works with other platforms. But let's say if I put the graph out there in the next 3 to 5 years, if you have to make the exit strategy, where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I mean, if we follow the right path, then we see a possible exit strategy, either selling to an existing network infrastructure vendor. We're talking with a couple of those infrastructure vendors now. They see us as very complementary in their portfolios. They see it as gaps that they've got in the portfolios, which is very positive. Or just going for an IPO.
We at TIE build this ecosystem for the last 17 years. These are very successful entrepreneurs, most of them immigrants who came and struggled and worked hard and achieved the American dream. And they came together and they said, let's give back to the community. And now 17 years later, we have 55 chapters in about 13 countries, and TIECon is the largest conference in the world for entrepreneurs. And TIE 50 was our flagship event. It was the inaugural awards that we held last year. We got huge traction. This year we had 3,700 plus participants, and you are among the top 50. And you flew in especially to collect this award. What is your take on the conference and the awards?
Yeah, no, we're very proud and honoured to be given the award. And it was a great experience coming here to meet a lot of like-minded people, a lot of entrepreneurs. Some who haven't got as far as us yet, who've got ideas, some who've got a lot further than us and have a lot of experience. It's just been a great event to meet a group of, very happy, cohesive people that are willing to share ideas and help each other.
Nigel, congratulations again, and thank you so much.
Thank you.